be silent. You can't keep me quiet. Will tremble when you try it. All I know is I won't go speechless.
Hello and welcome to the Guardians of Justice Abuse. I know that most people have experienced emotional abuse. Some people know that they have, other people don't know that they have experienced it. But emotional abuse is one of the most trending types of abuses in relationships. And as I always say, the first thing you need to take a note of is that anybody can abuse you. And it doesn't matter how close you are, whether it's family, whether it's a friend, anybody can abuse you. And so when we get to emotional abuse is also known as manipulation. And my definition of emotional abuse is the use of words and actions that attempt to frighten, control, or isolate you. And when you look and when you try to find the main reason for emotional abuse, you'll find out that the main aim is to lower someone's self esteem. Emotional abuse mainly attacks a person's self esteem. It makes you feel worthless and it literally belittles you. And some of the tactics that are being used to enact or to enable emotional abuse include name calling and the use of derogatory names. This includes nicknames. Some nicknames that people come up with for others, they're usually meant to torture them and to make them feel bad about themselves. And some people try to act like they're being endearing to you. They use words of endearment, such as calling you my little chunk of pumpkin when they're referring to how plump you are. That is also emotional abuse, especially if you're sensitive about how you look and how your body is. If you're sensitive about your body and someone calls you such a thing, then that is emotional abuse. Other than that, we have character assassination. Character assassination is whereby people use words such as always. They tell you you're always screwing up, you're always failing, you're always doing something wrong, such things. And the next thing is yelling. When people yell at you or they shout at you, it makes you feel scared and intimidated, and it even makes you feel small. Some people may never really hit you while they're yelling, but you'll find out that some people they throw things like maybe a glass on the wall, someone punches the wall, someone punches a tree. That is still emotional abuse. And if you ask me, emotional abuse later on matures and becomes physical abuse. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So the next thing is patronizing. Patronizing is like strategically belittling you. They use words such as, I know that you're really trying, but maybe your brain is too slow. You see? Such a thing. They are belittling you, but in a concocted way, so as to try and make you feel like they aren't really abusing you, but it's an abuse. The next thing is public harassment, embarrassment. Some people usually just want to pick fights with you in public. They want to tell people things that they think are funny about you, or but in the process, they're just trying to belittle you. They are telling people out there your secrets in public so that you can feel bad about yourself and that you can be embarrassed during a public gathering. Other than that, we have dismissiveness. Dismissiveness is whereby someone considers all of your ideas as irrelevant. Sometimes they completely ignore you. Sometimes they use nonverbal cues such as shaking their head, smirking at you, and clicking, such things. Other than that, we have joking. Joking. This is something that is very, very common in Kenya. Anytime someone tells you something bad and you're like, I, that isn't good. And the person is like, kwani hujui jokes? Each and every time when someone uses those words, kwani hujui jokes, the words that have been used are actually abusive. And most people, they see it like, they tell you that after they hurt you and you approach them, they tell you that it was just a joke. And you feel like you aren't sure about whether it was really a joke or they were saying something serious. Most of the time it's serious. Other than that, we have the belittling your accomplishments. They don't consider your accomplishments as something great, and some of them they say, you wouldn't have gotten there if it weren't for me. You wouldn't have graduated if I didn't pay your school fees. You wouldn't have done something if I didn't do something else. They can also put down your interests. Maybe they tell you, why are you struggling and you won't ever succeed in playing football. I don't like football, but maybe such a thing is just an example. Other than that, they can push your buttons. And sometimes people know that this specific thing annoys you, but they want to keep insisting on that thing, so that you can keep getting annoyed and getting annoyed. And then they say, you see, they just try to annoy you so that you can look bad. So those are the examples of the tactics that are used during emotional abuse.